10th of November, Rabbi Levitt, Gomorrah, Bava.
Okay, we are back, and let's see.
Right. How do you spell the name Gila? Hebrew?
Gila.
In Hebrew, please.
Oh,
Gimel, Yud, Lamed, Hey?
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's one I know.
Why, you have a child named Gila?
That's my wife's name.
Oh, right.
So I know how to spell it in Hebrew as well as English.
Yay.
Okay.
So,
good morning, Phil.
Good morning. If the construction bothers you, I'll mute. Just let me know.
okay, thanks.
Okay, good.
Right now it's fine.
Okay, so let's see. Oh, we're right in the middle of the Gomorrah over here. We're on Pei Ches Amud Aleph, towards the top of the page. And let's see. Maybe we should just go from the two dots. And we'll go to, yeah. We'll just go, in other words, my time of the Rebbe Yehuda.
My time of
the Rebbe Yehuda is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines from the top. Gemara wants to know, why does Rebbe Yehuda say ein lavodim boshes? Why is it that there's no payment of boshes to avodim?
I say it.
Okay, so let's see.
It's on 88A1. Left-hand column, second to the last paragraph.
Right, okay, so yeah, we saw this yesterday, but we'll start from here and we'll proceed further, Bezrat Hashem. Okay, so Alan, would you like to start off? I think you maybe start up yesterday too, these same words. My time at Rebbe Yehuda.
My timer, okay. Gemara asks, my timer,
This is
Rabbi,
acting up this one.
what is Rabbi's reason for exempting this
My speaker is not working.
liability for humiliation? Gemara explains.
Okay.
Torah, the verse that establishes the category.
Can you hear me?
Do you?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. Fine.
My timer, Rabbi Yehuda, what is Yehuda's reason for exempting this assailant from liability for humiliation? The Gemara explains, Omar Torah, the verse that establishes the category of humiliation states, Ki Yino'u Anoshim Yafdor Ish Ve'ochav. If men should fight with one another, a man and his brother, the word brother indicates that the verse deals only. You may sheyesh lo chavor, for someone who has a potential for brotherhood with his Israelites. Yotza eved she'ein lo chavor, the first excluded from the humiliation is a Canaanite slave who does not have the potential for brotherhood with the Israelites. The Gemara now explains the Tanna Kama ruling, and the rabbis maintain that the mitzvos, a slave is an Israelite's brother with respect to certain commandments, hence the laws of humiliation are applicable to him as well.
Right. According to the Rabbanan, they also darshan the very same pasuk as Rabbi Yehuda. That's the pasuk that is the source for Boshis. But they come out that Eved Kenai does have achva with Yisrael, because he's achiv hu b'mitzvahs. He has achva with them because of the mitzvahs that he's obligated in. Okay, so that's going to account for the Rabbanan holding that there is boshis payment given to an Eved Kanani. So they argue with Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, so now we go further, and let's go to there's no Rashi. Do we have? Yeah, we do have Rashi actually. We have a Rashi over here. Yotze Eved she'ein lo achva. Phil, would you like to read this Rashi?
Here we got two Rashis. First Rashi, to exclude an Eved who doesn't have this brotherhood achva situation. Im Yisrael, Am Yisrael. I don't know if it's Im or Am.
It's a run on Rashi, and it's Im.
Im with the Yisrael. She'ein ein ba b'kahal, because he's not included in the kahal of Yisrael, the Eved Kanani. That's the first.
I think the key to the translation of ba is enter, not included. It's a reference to marriage.
Ba, oh, he can't come into the kahal means he can't
Enter
get married
into
with
the
them.
congregation. Marry.
Right.
Right. He cannot marry, an Eved Kanani cannot marry a woman who is part of the kahal, and by kahal we are referring to the kahal of Yisrael. Okay, so that's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, Eved Kanani does not have achva, therefore he has no boshis payment to be given to him. But the Rabbanim say otherwise. The Rabbanim say that we do pay boshis to Eved Kanani because he does have achva. Echiv hu b'mitzvahs. So let's see the next Rashi, b'mitzvahs.
Mitzvahs. Kol mitzvah asa
Isha.
chayvas ba Eved chayav ba te gamal la lo me'asa.
It's Isha. It's Isha. It's Isha, a woman. All the mitzvahs that a woman is chayav in.
All the mitzvahs of a woman that a woman is obligated in, an Eved is obligated in. What is the Gamal?
Gemar.
The Gamar, as we learned it concerning a woman.
Okay, the Rashi is referring here to a Gezerah Shava, where you have the word law in the parsha of Eved Kanani, and you have another law in the parsha of Isha.
Oh, law. I see.
So so the Gomorrah makes a Gezerah Shava between them, and learns out that we know that a Isha is chayav in mitzvahs, and so therefore, based upon this Gezerah Shava, the Gomorrah learns out that the Eved is chayav in mitzvahs also, exactly the same way that an Isha is chayav in. So therefore, that's the achva that an Eved does have. He does have a achva with he does have an achva with Yisrael, and therefore there will be a Bosh's payment to him. Okay. And now we go weiter in the Gemara. And now the Gemara is going to ask we'll see what the Gemara does over here. Elami Ata. Alan, we go back to Alan.
You want me to continue? Okay. The Gomorrah challenges Rabbi Huda's ruling. Ela may talk, but now Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's time for his brother to explain a Canaanite slave. Zomei Aved Lo Yecharedu. The judges should not kill Zomim witnesses who testify against the slave. Deceive the Sisam Lo the Asher Zomat when the Asos was written with regard to Zomim witnesses, you shall do to him as he conspired to do to his brother. Since the slave is not considered a brother, the witnesses against him should not be executed. Yet the law is that the Zomim punishment is given for false testimony against the slave. When the answers, Omar Sheshes, Rabba said in the name of Sheshes, Omar Torah will be the end of the self-same verse shape. You shall destroy the evil from his lips. This indicates that the guilty witnesses are subject to the learning penalty, call mortal in all circumstances, even when they testified against a slave who was not a brother.
Okay, good. So what was the Gemara asking? The Gemara was asking that according to Rabbi Yehuda's position, that Eved Kanani is not part of he's not achva the Israel. He doesn't have brotherhood with the Israel. So if so the din should be that the Eidim Zomim should not be executed. Eidim Zomim should not be executed because it says Kasher Zomim Lasos La'achiv. You do to them like they wanted to do to their brother. Oh, but if their brother, if the one who was the brother was Eved Kanani, he's not a brother, so you don't do to them. Only to the brother you do. So it would seem that it should be that according to Rabbi Yehuda, oh, here comes Roy. We let in Roy. Roy is back. Baruch Hashem. And so exactly what the question is that let's let Rashi do the talking over here. I think Rashi is going to explain what exactly the kasha is.
We're on 87b.
Yeah, no, we're on 88.
A2.
Okay, thank you.
Left in the column.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay, Zomim, we're up to Zomim Eved.
Zomim Eved.
Zome Eved, Edim Shechayavoto Mita, based in. These are Edim who would be Chayiv based in. The Nimtza Zomi, now they're found to be Edim Zomi. Lo Yacharogo, you don't kill them. We see Kimle the Eved established that you establish to them an Eved ki Yisrael like Yisrael Inyan Mita based in the matter of Mita based in the Tanan that it's taught in the second Makot. The Yisrael local Yisrael gets. I guess that's the name of the. Is that the pop? Is that the pop? Yisrael are going to get Marcus. Al Yedei Evet because of a Evet. The Gola he gets local. He gets Malchus and he would send to the Gola because of an Evet.
In other words, because it sounds like what happened is that without looking in the Gomorrah inside, it sounds like what Rashi is describing. He's describing a Mishnah in Maseches Makos, and it's the parsha of Horig B'Shogeg. Somebody is an accidental murderer, and the din of an accidental murderer is that he goes to Gullus. Rashi springs from the Mishnah, the Yisrael loke v'gola al yedei Eved. So what I'm guessing this means is that maybe we should look this up. I think what this means, I'm not sure why it says loka over here. There's two dinim over here. There's a din of Malchus and there's a din of Gullus. The din of Gullus, let's look this up. It's not clear from what Rashi brings over here. We got to look this up. It's in Makos Daf Ches Amud Beis. Let's go get a Makos.
I'm sorry, where are we exactly now? 82A2, 88A2.
Yes, 88A2. And we just finished the paragraph on the top right.
Okay.
It ends with footnote 18.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're doing the Rashi.
All right, okay, thank you.
What page did he say in Makos? Anybody remember what page he said in Makos? No.
Let's see, it's in the Rashi's Mem Amud Beis.
Rashi. I have a quotation over here. Makos Ches Amud Beis, 8b in Makos.
Oh, you're right. I'm looking at the wrong one. That was later on. Sorry, Ches Amud Beis.
Okay. Now, actually, before we go to there, let's go over this Rashi again. What is Rashi saying over here up until here? Rashi says Zomame Eved. What are Zomame Eved?
Witnesses to testify against a slave.
Yeah. Edim shechayvuhu Mrs. Bezdin. These are the witnesses that made him chayiv, meaning the Eved, Mrs. Bezdin, that he's to be executed based upon their testimony. And then Nimsuhu Zomamim. Then another group of witnesses come along and they say, "Oh, you were with us in China." Lo Yarogu. We don't give them the punishment of Misa, the Edim Zomamim. Now that's what Rashi is explaining over here is that's what should come. That's what would seem to come out according to the way that we are explaining Rebbe Yehuda. And then Rashi says alama. Notice that the word alama, there's a hey at the end of the word, not an aleph. With an aleph, it would be alma, so we see. But with a hey, it's just the opposite. It's a question. Alama, why? Alama kimlan. So why is it that we establish that the accepted halacha is the Eved ki Yisrael Inyan Misa? Misa's Besdin. We establish, says Rashi, in other words, that it's the accepted halacha, and presumably Rebbe Yehuda does not disagree with it, that an Eved has a status just like a Yisrael in regard to matters of Misa's Besdin. Okay. And then Rashi brings the Tanan b'Maseches Makos. We learn in Maseches Makos, Daf Ches Amud Beis, this statement that he's bringing over here that we're going to investigate exactly what this means. So this statement Rashi seems to be bringing as a proof that in regard to Mises Besdin, an Eved is judged as a Yisrael. Okay, the Mishnah doesn't mention anything about it. Eved. Av gola ayadei ben gola ayadei av kol golan ayadei Yisrael v'Yisrael golan ayadeihen. Chutz miger toshav v'ger toshav ein gola el ayadei ger toshav. Maybe that's okay. Oh, okay. So everybody got a Gomorrah Makos, or whoever wants to have a Gomorrah Makos, they got it already?
I have it. I think I found where we are.
Okay. So the Mishnah over here says, that Hakol Golin al Yedei Yisrael, Yisrael Golin al Yedeihen. What is that referring to? What does that mean? That means to say that everyone will go to an Ir Miklat. They will be Chayav Golos al Yedei, by virtue of accidentally murdering a Yisrael. And similarly, a Yisrael will go to Golus al Yedeihen through his accidental murder of them, with the exception of a Ger Toshav. With the exception of a Ger Toshav is he's not a Ger. He's not a Ger Tzedek. He's not a full-fledged Jew. He's a Ger who has accepted upon himself the mitzvahs b'nei Noach, and he's allowed to live amongst the Jewish people like that. Ger Toshav. And what's his din? If a Yisrael would accidentally murder a ger toshev, he's not included in this halach over here of being chayav golos. But the Gomorrah, what's important to us is that the Gomorrah, about 10 lines down from where the Mishnah ends, by the 2 dots, there is a section of the Gomorrah that goes on this part of the Mishnah, Hakol Golen al Yedei Yisrael. And the Gomorrah wants to know, when it says Hakol in the Mishnah, it's obviously coming to include somebody that we might not have thought would be part of the Jewish people. So the Gomorrah asks, Hakol Golen al Yedei Yisrael Lasuye Mai. What is those words coming to include? What's that called coming to include? The Gomorrah says, Lasuye Eved. To include an Eved. So meaning to say that, and here we're talking about an Eved Kanani. We're not talking about an Eved Ivri, because an Eved Ivri is a Yisrael who's just has a status of an Eved that he's working 6 years for a Jewish master. But he's here's clearly a full-fledged Jew. But an Eved Kanani, he's not a full-fledged Jew. But as far as this din of Golos is concerned, his status is equal to that of any other Jew, of any other full-fledged Jew. So that he would go to Golos, and a Jew would go to Golos also as a result of accidentally murdering a Eved Kanani. So this is what I believe Rashi is referring to over here, because according to what the Gomorrah has said, the Gomorrah is saying that in the case of Mrs. Bezdin, according to what Rebbe Yehuda said, the Edim Zomimim of a Eved Kanani, they would not be executed. But Rashi is saying that, you see, and what's the question? What's the question the Gomorrah has? The Gomorrah is saying that if that would be true, that's what Rebbe Yehuda says, and that's his basis for saying that doesn't have achba, based upon the fact that he's not allowed to enter into Kahal Yisrael, not allowed to marry a Jewish woman. So if so, then why is it? Rashi says, Alama Kimlan. Why is it that the accepted halacha is in this Mishnah? And we don't see any dissenters. We don't see Rebbe Yehuda arguing with this. Why is the accepted halacha that when it comes to the din of Golos, he's included over here? He's totally included. That's what the Gomorrah's question seems to be.
So in other words, there's an implication that if he would be exiled, if a Jew would be exiled on account of accidentally killing a Canaanite slave, therefore a Jew would be executed on account of testifying falsely against the Canaanite slave. Is that the connection?
Yeah. I'm thinking right now, I don't really understand what the Gomorrah's question is, because according to what Rashi's saying, why it could, I don't know why it's why does Rashi say, why is the din not like that when it comes to Golas? I'll tell you why the din's not like that when it comes to Golas. Because when it comes to Golas, we don't find we don't find we don't know of any pasuk that mentions that in order for him to go to Golas, he has to be ba'achva with Kahal Yisrael. Whereas when it comes to the din of Boshis, and when it comes to the din of Mrs. Bezdin, those are different dinim. They've got different halachas. And over there we find that the psukim that refer to Eidim Zomim, it says achiv. So there's a requirement that he be achiv in order for us to execute the Eidim Zomim. I'm not. To me, the question is not. Not following the question the way Rashi's explaining it.
Well, I would think the question is, if you have to be achiv in order to be executed because you're an Eid Zomimim, then do you have to be achiv in order to be exiled because of a Eved Kanani? And if you can say yes, then you have a precedent that says he's achiv in this context. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda is wrong. He must be achiv in the other context.
But do we don't have? I don't see Rashi bringing. It would seem to me Rashi would need to show us that we don't have a pasuk that mentions achiv as a condition for the din of Golas to be applicable. So
sounds like he's deriving it from the logical connection that if he can be exiled, he can be executed. And if to be executed, he has to be a brother, then to be exiled, he has to be a brother.
No, what we're talking about over here is we're saying that the Eidim Zomimim, we're not talking about the Eved Kanani being executed. We're talking about the Eidim Zomimim. Their testimony made an Eved Kanani Chayav Misa. And then a second group of witnesses come along and say that those Eidim that said that they were in China at the time. So now the first group's testimony has been refuted, and they have a din of Eidim Zomimim. And the general din of Eidim Zomimim, as we know, is that we do to them what their testimony was supposed to do to their brother. That's what it says in the pasuk. Kasher zomim latzos la'achiv. So, in other words, in order
if
for
we execute them, then we've proved that they are the brother of the person they testified against.
According to Rabbi Yehuda, the Eved Kanani does not have achba with Kal Yisrael, and so therefore, according to Rabbi Yehuda, these Eidim Zomimim should not be executed. That's what the Gomorrah is saying over here.
Right, and Rashi's saying, if Rabbi Yehuda is correct, and they're not executed, then furthermore, the inadvertent killer should not be exiled. And since he is exiled, therefore, it's a refutation to Rabbi Yehuda.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that I would say that the din of Eidim Zomim is dependent upon achba, because it says achba in the pasuk clearly. It says kasher lasos la'achiv.
Right.
Whereas the maybe I'm making a mistake, but we'd have to do an investigation of the pasuk that says that the person is chayav golus, and we'd have to see if that pasuk that makes the person chayav golus, does it say because he accidentally murdered his brother? If it doesn't say that he accidentally murdered his brother, then I would say that he goes to golus because he killed the Eved Kanani. Is it his brother? Well, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's not. But the pasuk doesn't say that he's got to be his brother in order for him to go to golus. So we don't see. It's not difficult that we have this halacha in Makos that a Jew goes to golus for killing an Eved Kanani accidentally. It's not relevant to our discussion here with Rabbi Yehuda because we don't the pasuk that is the source for golus doesn't mention anything about achva. Having said that, I'm trying to remember what is the pasuk what is the pasuk?
Shmos 21:20.
Yeah,
That's what my footnote says.
yeah, and what does it say over there? What's the footnote say?
The footnote says, similarly, an Israelite is executed for deliberately murdering a Canaanite slave. See Shmos 21:20, and he is therefore exiled for inadvertently killing one.
Oh. Oh boy, this is getting complicated over here.
Mhm.
Wow.
Say that again.
Let me get a Shmos.
What's the reference in what you call it?
Shmos
No,
21:20.
no, the Gomorrah. The Gomorrah is, we're looking at now, the Gomorrah is
The one in Makos?
Marcos, yes.
Yeah, Makos is 8B3. If you have an art scroll,
A what?
8B3.
HB3. And Shemos
21:20.
Shemos 21.
Oh boy. Don't like their notes. It's not what we need to know.
Yeah, this doesn't seem to be too helpful.
1 second. 1 second over here. Zoma May Evid. Zoma May Evid. We gotta have a note over here. That's the question. Oh, here's a helpful note. Here's something that's helpful over here. This is helpful. Okay, wow, it doesn't seem that Rashi's telling us the whole story. One second. Okay, so like this. Rashi's referring to us, not exactly the place that I was showing you. There's a brisa over there on that same page on 8b. It says that a Yisrael is going to get Malchus through an Eved. He's going to get Malchus through an Eved. And the Gomorrah explains over there that we're talking about a case where a Yisrael gave Adis on an Eved, that the Eved was Chayav Malchus. And then the aid was refuted. Witnesses came and said this aid doesn't know to say that because he was in China when he on that day. So from there you see that the Brisa says that in regard to Adis on an Eved Kanani, there is in fact an onish of kasher zomim lasos la'achiv, as we're going to give that aid the same Malchus that his testimony was plotting to give to the Eved Kanani.
And it says he's his brother?
Well, we know we do have a pasuk for. The Gomorrah itself quoted the pasuk of the punishment of Edim Zomim is Vasisim lo kasher zomim. That's in our Gomorrah.
I see.
So, and the point is that we don't find over there in the sugi over there in Makos that Rabbi Yehuda disagrees with that.
Right.
So if Rabbi Yehuda doesn't disagree, we don't understand. According to the reasoning that we're understanding from Rabbi Yehuda, it should be that an aide who testifies against an Eved Kanani, and then he's refuted through Hazama, since the punishment of Hazama is tied to the defendant being a brother, that he has achva with the witnesses, so they shouldn't the Eidim, when they become zomim, they should not get the punishment, and we see that they do. We see that they do get the punishment.
Right. We got it clear.
Okay. So that's what I told you. It's not clear at all from what Rashi quotes over there. That, but okay, we did a little bit of digging.
Okay, take care. Be well.
Okay, everybody, have a great day. To be continued tomorrow. B'ezrat Hashem. The plot thickens.
10 to 4, Lou, right?
What?
Yeah, Alan's just talking to me.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Alan, that's good.
Okay.
Rabbi Levitt,
Yes.
so the
Still here.
the Gomorrah says that an Eved is a brother. Did it?
Well,
Which-
in other words, we're the Gomorrah is saying that even though the punishment is tied to there has to be a brotherhood between the witnesses and the one that they're testifying against in order for the punishment to apply. Nevertheless, the Gomorrah says that even when the defendant is an Evet Kanani, the witnesses will get lashes. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, they should not get lashes. And we don't find in the Gomorrah here in Makos that Rabbi Yehuda disagrees with this din that says that they do get lashes.
So the inference is that they're brothers.
Okay, you say it like that. Okay.
Well, there's a machlochis between Rabbi Yehuda and the sages. The sages say they are brothers. Rabbi Yehuda says they're not. So at this point, the Gomorrah is trying to resolve that machlochis by refuting Rabbi Yehuda. So it's not conclusive that the Gomorrah is saying they are or they're not brothers. It's a point in the argument.
We would have expected that Rabbi Yehuda should disagree over here. We see that he doesn't. So we want to know what's going on. Why is he not disagreeing over here?
Okay, thank you.
On that, the Gomorrah answers. We did see the answer. The Gomorrah said that, well, in addition to this pasuk about the brotherhood for the punishment of Eidim Zomim, it also says that ubiarta harami kirbecha, and you shall expunge the evil from your midst. So the Gomorrah says from that pasuk we see that that's the reason why we do this to the Eidim Zomim. So that would be the answer for Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't disagree over here, because even though they're not brothers, the Evet Kanani is not a brother. Nevertheless, the Eidim Zomim are going to get punished because we have to expunge the evil of Eidim Zomim from our midst, even if they testified about somebody who's not a brother.
Okay, yes. All right, got it. I hope. Thank
And
you.
have a great day.
You too. Be well.
Okay.